We do not fully understand what happens with our eternal spirit at the moment of death. I believe when we die, our spirit enters a dimensional spirit realm, and there are times this spirit realm will cross over into our dimension. Many people experience such encounters with spirits crossing into our realm. When this happens, upon investigating the location's history, we find tragic events took place, opening a doorway between our realm and the spirit realms. Some of these realms are dark, where spirits are trapped in a never-ending nightmare. They seek help to be released by anyone who's willing to listen to their pleas. There are times someone will die unexpectedly. They linger between realms, not wanting the life they lived to come to an end. In this paranormal documentary, we are asked to come to investigate the home of a young lady who resides with her 4-year-old son. Supernatural events taking place within her home every night she is forced to leave. Not only do we find a doorway into a dark realm of hell, we also cross paths with another spirit, the spirit of a young child. What causes dark paranormal encounters? What are the effects on the living when encountering the doorway into a dark realm? And how can a child's spirit get caught between realms? Is this even possible? There was a time I didn't believe this could happen. I have found when encountering a real child's spirit, they are never in distress. We find in this investigation a child spirit has good reasons not to move on. She wanted to do something she didn't get to do much while she was alive. I'm working on the Mount Hope video investigation, and I was on the phone and there was some loud knocking at my door, and it sounded like somebody was saying, "Help me, I need to talk to you." So I run downstairs and I come out the door, and there's a young lady sitting in her car out in my driveway, and she asked me if I was Kent, and I said, "Yes, my name's Kent." And she said, "Well, somebody sent me here to talk with you." And she said she was experiencing paranormal activity at her home, and that she believed it was poltergeist type activity. And I asked her, "Well, what's going on? What type of activity are you having?" And she was telling me that at nighttime, around a certain time at night, a lot of voices, footsteps, and something's pulling their covers down at night. She has a 4-year-old son, and the son has also been experiencing some activity. She said that her son has been talking with what she thought was a spirit, and it's getting worse. Now she was literally shaking, she was crying. It was kind of hard to understand everything she was telling me. So I got her phone number and I got her address, and I told her that as soon as I can, I will be right over there to see what's going on. About 3 or 4 days later, I contacted her and I told her that I'll be over at such and such day and we'll do an investigation. We'll see what's happening. Now, I took somebody with me on this investigation because at this point in time, I have no idea what this activity is. And before I went to this investigation, I was so busy with the Mount Hope video and working on other things, I never had time to like Google her address or get a history of it. I had never had time to talk with her about it. I was actually going on this investigation in the blind. Had no idea what I was going to encounter. And it wasn't until I was on my way to her home that I found out that it was actually an apartment complex in Bangor, and the name of the community is Cape Heart. David, who went with me, he said Cape Heart, and he said there was a lot of bad stuff that happened there in that community. Not knowing what we're going to encounter, We got to the home and I sat down and did an interview with Jennifer to explain what the activity she was facing, what this was all about. She showed me some of her own recordings that she took, which I will show later on in this investigation, and she started explaining what the situation was.
I just noticed my son whispering in the tub and talking to somebody. I went to take a shower and the bathroom got ice cold and my shower was ice cold. And then when I got out, it warmed right up again and was warm for my son. When it started to physically touch us, my mom ended up buying my son a brand new $300 queen size bed. We set it up in the new bedroom. We had a comforter on it. He was so excited to sleep in it, wanted to play. That night, the first night we slept in it, I slept with him to get him comfortable, and that is the first night that it grabbed him. The next night he wouldn't go, the next day he didn't want to go in his room, didn't want to go in the bed. He hasn't gone in there since. My son, he's 4. Of course, 4-year-olds talk in the tub. He's always gone in his tub and played and talked. I started noticing he wasn't talking out loud like normal. He would quietly whisper, and I'd say, "What?" And he would say, "Oh, nothing." Then I'm like, "Who are you talking to?" And he would just get very strange about it. About 3 nights later, I started hearing the same whispering and playing in the tub, and when I would go up, he just would look down and wouldn't answer me. And I finally was able to sneak my phone in the staircase, and it sounds like there's a baby, and he's like, "Ouch, that hurt me." I've shown you that video.
Right.
The first thing I noticed was the TV when it started fuzzing in and out, and when I made the recording, like the 4th night in a row, the one I showed you, it fuzzes and statics, and then it's like half gray, half black, and then you see like this black shadow come out of it, and then the TV's in the background.
Your TV's never done that before?
No, never. I thought I heard noises at night, up and down stairs, knocking on cupboards, faucets running, and I started noticing like shadows underneath my door. I started feeling, whenever I would feel like something's watching me, it would be freezing cold wind. Then when it started messing with us in bed, it would feel real cold by our feet, like someone was lifting up the cover for wind to go in. Almost 2 months ago, I got really, really sick. I went to the doctor, had blood drawn. They couldn't come up with anything. I mean, I just had to go to sleep. Like I was like gray, my skin, I lost weight. My mom, we didn't know what was going on. I had to go to our house because I just had to lay down. I started kind of getting some videos to get the proof, like all within the same week, because I'm like, this is just too much. You know, there's too much going on.
Jennifer sincerely explained what's been going on in her home. Based on what she talked about and the video footage she showed me, finds her and her young son, for unknown reasons, are experiencing paranormal encounters. This 4-year-old boy should never have to go through this kind of experience. This activity caused him to become fearful to stay in his own home. I'm concerned Jennifer had a sudden onset illness doctors couldn't explain. Encounters with negative spirits will have a physical effect on someone. During this investigation, I will try to confirm what kind of spirit Jennifer has encountered. I'm not happy with what this family's been put through. I will be a little more aggressive during this investigation. Alright, so they do know how to mess with my equipment. Alright, so they do know how to mess with my equipment. You messing with my equipment? Who's in here? What's your name? We're going to head upstairs to the bedroom. What's going on? What happened to you? Why are you here? You need to answer this question, and you are bound to answer this question. I need you to identify what kind of spirit you are. What kind of spirit are you? 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 And I've got equipment. It's called a spirit box. And I'm going to turn it on here in a little bit, and I'm going to ask you that question again. Are you guys hearing that? Spirit box. And I'm going to turn it on here in a little bit, and I'm going to ask you that question again. Did you hear that, David? You didn't? No. Do you feel anything? Why are you here? So most of the activity that you're experiencing takes place in this room.
Yes. The first night it was in that room in his new bed. But for the most of the time, we've always been in this room. My son sleeps with me. This is his room with his new bed.
Is there a child in here? Is there a child in here? If you're here, can you identify yourself, please? What's your name? Hello? We're going to use what's called a ghost box, and we might be able to hear you a lot better with this ghost box going. So if you can talk to us, we may not understand what you're saying, but talk anyway. I have to go back and listen to the recordings to hear what you have to say. I want to find out why you're here. Was that somebody's stomach?
It wasn't mine.
Did you just say help me? I want to find out why you're here. Was that somebody's stomach? Is that why you're here? You're wanting help? All right, I'm going to turn this on. I want you to talk with us, all right? Are you here? I'm going to ask you that question again. I need you to identify what kind of spirit you are. I need you to do that one more time. I need you to identify what kind of spirit you are. Is there a child here? Child, I need you to say something, please. Child, what's your name? Who's in this house pulling down the covers and playing with Julian? Who are you? How old are you? How old are you? Is it a child that's playing with Julian or is it an adult? All right, you know what? Hold on, I'll be back. Sitting here and I'm freaking hearing growling back here. I step outside to see how the spirits respond to Jennifer and David. See what they say.
talking to? What kind of spirit are you, Teddy? I just want to know why you're talking to my little boy.
Are you a child too?
Is that Teddy?
I keep hearing like the same voice.
The same little boy voice.
Teddy, what's wrong? Are you scared?
Do you want to tell us what happened to you, Teddy? So we can help you?
After a few minutes outside, I come back in and rejoin the investigation. Did they say anything?
A little bit. I mean, what do you think, David?
I think this
I think,
I've heard like the same child voice or
yeah,
the
we
young
keep
kid's
hearing the
voice
same young
a
voice.
few times. I can't really make out what it's saying.
Something that is about the child. During this ghost box session, these spirits talked so fast we didn't understand what they said in the moment. While I was there doing the investigation, I just had this feeling that something wasn't right. And during this investigation, we noticed that these spirits kept bringing up children. I couldn't tell everything they were saying, and it wasn't until I went back and viewed the recordings that we did capture a lot of spirits talking about children killed. And at this point in time, I begin to think there's a possibility all of this activity has a lot to do with children. And there's a possibility something happened in this community that possibly opened up gateways into an evil, dark realm. Because what we captured was not normal. This is the type of stuff you don't normally capture, where you demand a spirit to identify itself and you capture a voice that says evil. That's a bad sign. What kind of spirit are you? So I did a history search into Cape Heart, and I started out looking over some news archives, and I was pretty shocked. After finishing the first part of this investigation and going over the evidence captured, I looked into news archives to see if any children were murdered in this community. What I found was quite disturbing. On January 6, 1995, 8-month-old Isha Mariah Dixon was murdered in the building directly behind where I was conducting this investigation. Almost every bone in this little toddler's body was broken. She died of blunt force trauma to her head. To this day, Isha's murder has never been solved. While looking over these news archives, I read about an unknown donor who paid for Isha's gravestone. This person who paid for this gravestone used funds left over from donations from another girl who was also murdered down the road from Isha 2 years prior. Shockingly, Isha wasn't the only child murdered in this community. On November 12, 1993, a lady called the Bangor Police Department and asked who she needed to talk with so that someone can come to her apartment and pick up her dead 5-year-old's body. Bangor police came to the woman's apartment where they found the body of 5-year-old Taviel Kigus. Taviel was starved to death by her mother. The mother claimed there were devil worshippers next door chanting up evil spirits. One of these evil spirits possessed her daughter with evil. Due to her daughter's evil, she starved Taviel to death. There are different classifications of murder, and each classification has everything to do with the motive behind the murder. Homicide detectives have to establish a motive in order to understand why a person committed such a murder. There's different types of murders. You have crimes of passion, where somebody kills a loved one. There's revenge type murders. There's murders that happen in the spur of the moment where somebody may be intoxicated or under the influence and ends up killing somebody. It wasn't planned. It wasn't a first-degree murder. But then there are murders that absolutely don't make any sense at all. And these are the type of murders that baffle homicide detectives. These are the type of murders that you can't establish a motive, or you can't really understand why a person would commit such a murder. And the murder of Taviel is one of those types of murders. And the murder of this 8-month-old baby is also the same type of murder. It's hard to put a motive behind these type of murders. And these are the type of murders that involve children that actually will haunt homicide detectives, because you don't fully understand what was in this person's mind and what their motivations were to commit such a horrific murder, especially involving children. And this is the thing. All human beings have a potential to commit murder. We all have a potential to kill, but we don't. The majority of us don't murder. We don't kill. We have enough self-discipline that we don't go out killing people. But it's murders like Taviel and this 8-month-old baby. You have to find answers of what caused these types of murders. And I believe in this case, in the case here at Capehart involving these children, I personally believe that these were demonically type influenced murders. I believe that there's a portal opened up within that community due to a lot of negative, horrific type deaths that occurred there. Now, I don't have enough time to go into all the history of Capehart, but there is numerous deaths that took place in this community. Everything from other murders, suicides, drug overdose deaths. One gentleman came on the property and he ended up getting stabbed in the chest with a tire iron, and he laid dead on the ground for a number of hours for everybody to see him laying there. We're talking about some dark events that took place in this community. And I even found a newspaper archive where somebody was talking and said that they're upset because the news media is always giving Cape Heart community a bad name, and that needs to be turned around. That's how bad it was. Now, I know from experience doing paranormal investigations, when you have demonic type spirits, something happened that opened up that portal, something opened up that doorway, and in this case there is no doubt there are some evil spirits there, and I personally believe that these evil spirits are in fact oppressing some of the people there, Jennifer and her son being one of them. And I also believe that when Jennifer's son was calling this spirit Teddy, I believe that it was actually Tavi. Taviel was called Tavi for short. That's what some witnesses told me, that she went by Tavi. So I looked over Jennifer's recordings and I examined them carefully. I ran them through a digital enhancer and I slowed them down to listen to see what type of activity she captured. And she did in fact capture some paranormal activity during her recordings. These are some of the recordings.
Go.
What?
Are you ready to scrub up, or do you want a few more minutes?
I want to.
You want a few more minutes?
And watch this.
Oh.
This. In my tummy.
All right. Mommy's gonna give you a minute, okay? I gotta get my phone off the charger.
I'm gonna do this.
Shoot your ducky. All right, shoot your ducky.
Okay.
All right, I see you in a minute.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Okay, now it's the moon.
Okay, I love you.
Okay.
Just holler if you need me.
Okay.
around the same time, every night at 8:30, my TV would start to static. TV's messing up again?
Yeah.
Yep. Same time last night.
If the interference with Jennifer's TV is paranormal related, I suspected there is a reason behind this interference. If there's one thing I've learned when encountering spirits, if they have something to say, they will find a way. Spirits can and do use electronic devices as a means to communicate with the living. I believe there's a strong possibility a spirit was using Jennifer's TV as a way of warning her. Jennifer may not have understood what was going on at the time, but the message was planted in her thoughts.
TV's messing up again?
Yeah.
Yep. Same time last night.
Jennifer showed me another video clip. She said when she recorded this video, the recording froze up and her camera shut down. What she said about this sounded familiar. Numerous times while doing investigations, encounters with paranormal has effects on my equipment. Most effects happen with the cameras. I looked at Jennifer's recording when the camera froze up. There appeared to be a strange anomaly of what looked like a possible apparition of a small child. I should also point out the day of this recording, Jennifer's son had a friend staying at the home. This is the recording.
Please.
And then I have the one I got in the car. It's this one.
I heard a little girl screaming, but it was actually the wind.
Because Jenny told you it was the wind?
Yeah.
Okay, but you thought you heard a little girl screaming?
Yeah.
Okay,
It just sounded like this.
It did, okay. Thank you, honey. I'm... All right, that's pretty much all.
Please. Please.
I'm not claiming this is in fact an apparition of a child. It could be an after effect image on the camera. However, due to the reaction of her camera, the moment this anomaly appears, her camera froze up and shut down. If this is the apparition of a child, this could be the apparition of 5-year-old Taviel. When I saw this, my thoughts went straight to the photo of Taviel. Even more strange, when the young friend of Jennifer's son stayed in this home, he said he heard the screams of a child. So that the young boy would not be frightened, Jennifer told him it was just the wind blowing. Regardless, the boy said it sounded like a child screaming.
And then I have the one I got in the car. It's the...
I heard a little girl screaming, but it was actually the wind.
Because Jenny told you it was the wind?
Yeah.
Okay, but you thought you heard a little girl screaming?
Yeah.
Okay,
It just sounded like this.
It did, okay. Thank you, honey. I'm... All right, that's pretty much all.
Is it possible what this young boy heard was the residual energy of Taviel screaming in the night due to the pain she suffered from starvation? Taviel's mother told police she turned the radio up in order to drown out the sounds of her screams. Neighbors told police Taviel was not allowed outside to play with other children. Taviel would stay at her bedroom window watching other children playing outside. Witnesses stated Taviel would bring her toys to the window and play with their toys as if she was playing with the other children. Every day, witnesses saw Taviel in her window with her toys trying to get the attention of the children playing outside. One day, Taviel was no longer in the window. When doing investigations, when you encounter the voices of children, I'm always cautious to claim this is actually a humanoid child spirit. I do know that there are demonic spirits that will mimic a child's voice. However, I do believe this is actually Taviel's spirit, the spirit of this little 5-year-old girl that was murdered. She was not in distress. She wasn't asking for help. She wasn't crying during this investigation. And I had to think, well, why would a 5-year-old spirit stay behind like this? I've concluded that when Taviel died, when her spirit was released from her body, she was going around playing with the children in the apartment complex. She wanted to play with the children because she did not have this opportunity to play with the children. She would stand in that window holding her toys up in the window, even learn to do her own interpretation of sign language, talking with the children. That's how bad she wanted to play with them. I believe when she died, she stayed behind. Her will was strong enough to stay behind and play with these children. And I believe Taviel finally came across Jennifer's son, and she was trying to play with Jennifer's son. Jennifer's son obviously didn't understand this, and it scared him. Jennifer didn't understand this, and this scared her. But we are going back to do a second investigation, and I want to confirm that this is in fact Taviel. And I also need to confirm that there is actually a portal opened up there into a very, very dark realm. And within this realm, there are demonic spirits, and there are tormented souls that are asking for help. And like I said, horrific type events can open up these doorways into a very dark realm. I've learned that from within the Lamb House. I learned that at the old farmhouse. Where there's such tragic events, it brings in a negative energy. And this place did have a negative energy to it. I'm back. David's back here with me.
Hi.
Taviel. Although this voice was faint captured on this recorder, in real time this disembodied voice is pretty loud. This definitely did not come from outside. It came from Jennifer's son's bedroom. That was a disembodied voice from your son's bedroom. Come on up, guys. I'm going to turn on this other recorder. That was definitely a disembodied voice. Although I turned on the other recorder device, and when I went back to check the recording, it was never recording. I'm going to turn on the ghost box. When I turn the ghost box on, we have some strange interference, as if there was some type of electrical feedback going through the speakers. And I also had strange interference on my camera, the type of interference that I have at the Lamb House or at cemeteries. Although this interference is frustrating and it could be annoying listening to this, I have to show this to you viewers to see what was captured. Hello? You trying to tell us something? Gabriella, is that you? Gabriella, Gabrielle. Gabrielle, are you trying to tell us something? That's a child. Okay, well, don't go anywhere. We'll be back. I heard you say something up here. Can you talk again? Taviel, was that you? Did you say hey? Taviel, is that you here? It's you? It's you? Why are you here? Taviel? Taviel? The child's here? Can you verify for me that Taviel's here? Can you verify this, please? What's that screaming? Taviel. I have a picture of you. I know what happened to you. I'm sorry that happened to you. Are there any other children here besides Taviel? I brought the Ovilus with me on this investigation. I wanted to use this device in order to get confirmation about children who died in this complex. At first, nothing was coming through the Ovilus, and then there was random words coming through. Nothing made sense. I was getting ready to shut out the Ovilus. A spirit uses the Ovilus to tell me about the children.
Jiffy. Time. Tickle. Butter. Sultry. And kind.
Sounds like it's just spewing out words. Doesn't make any sense.
Shift. Tilt.
Kid killed.
Shift. Tilt.
I ask what kind of spirits are in this apartment. I do get an unusual answer, and these spirits go on to say something else. What kind of spirits in this apartment right now?
Ellie. Ellie. Ellie.
Many?
Pine. Wood. Yellow. Giraffe. Stones. Pine. Wood. Yellow. Giraffe. Stones. Your Perlaya John. Your Perlaya John.
I'm not sure what all this meant. Taviel's mother did suffer from paranoid schizophrenia. I hope sometime I can find out what these spirits meant by this. Anybody here commit suicide? Oh, it is on. David's going to talk to you now.
How did you die?
Choked to death?
Where are you? Can you see me? Did somebody really burn a child to death? Who would do such a thing?
Did you hear that?
It sounded like something about a kid.
Burning. After hearing the spirit say the mother burned the child, at this point I have no doubt there's an open portal leading straight into the depths of a dark realm, a realm of pure hell. The voice that said, "You hate me, don't you?" is the same voice that said, "Satan." I believe this evil spirit said this directly towards David and myself. At this point in the investigation, I developed a strong feeling of hate. I believe this evil spirit wanted us to feel such hate in order to lead us down a dark path. For this spirit to address us as human, this was an indication we're dealing with a non-human spirit. At this point in the investigation, we have to set our feelings aside and focus on the investigation. If you let these evil entities control your feelings, such as the feelings of strong hate, they will lead you down a negative, dark path of oppression. Unless you control these feelings, this dark oppression will consume you. I'm going to turn the ghost box on upstairs at the same time this is running.
Is there anybody to watch over the children? It's Gabrielle. I'm sorry what happened to you. And I hope you're happy now.
Who is in this home right now with us? Can you please tell us your name?
Where's the child that was here earlier? Where's the child that was here earlier? Can you tell us if you're okay?
You're dead?
Can you tell us if you're okay?
You're dead?
Can you tell us if you're okay?
You're dead?
You okay? You okay?
I personally believe an unwanted spirit came to this home. And there's a possibility when the little voice said, I don't like you, this child was saying this to the spirit that's not welcomed. Right after she said, I don't like you, we captured Get Me Help spirit in the upstairs bedroom. Why do you stay here? At this point of the investigation, Jen's not here in the home, Somebody came to the door, was wanting to talk with me. David's left alone inside this home to conduct this investigation.
Can anyone help you? Can you tell me if Tabby is here? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Are the children safe after they die? Are you happy now? Did you say yes? Could you say it again? Are you happy now?
You guys here? I just heard it, yeah. Why do you stay here at this apartment? Why do you stay here at this apartment? Taviel, are you here? Taviel, do you like the toys in here? Did you just say something? Can you repeat that, please? Hello? Alright, I'm feeling cold going all around me. Is that you? Are you in Julian's room? Movement down the hallway. Is there anything you wanted to say before I shut this all down? This would be your opportunity to say it.
If it is you, Tavi, I'm sorry for what happened to you. And I hope you're happy.
Tavi, everybody loves you. And I'm going to tell your story so you're not forgotten, okay?
I hope you're happy now too.
Main thing is that we want you to rest in peace. We want you to be happy. And we're very, very sorry what happened to you. When I finished up the second investigation, when I got home that night, I was feeling extremely nauseous. I didn't feel like myself. I had a lot of anger in me. I felt a lot of hate. A lot of hate towards the parents of these children. A lot of hate towards these tragic events. And this actually came to a point. I was oppressed by this. And when I got home that night, I had to lay down in bed and I was actually shaking. And I couldn't get the images out of my mind about what happened to these children. And the anger just kept building and building and building. The next morning, when I got up, I was feeling pretty sick. And I just wasn't myself. And I started dry heaving. And the dry heaves were so bad that I actually lost my voice for a little while. I couldn't talk. This feeling of hate inside me was actually getting the best of me, and I just felt angry. And I began to examine myself. Why am I feeling this way? It's understandable with an investigation like this and what happened to these children. You're going to feel angry, but this was beyond normal anger. I went over the evidence from the second investigation, and from what I heard in that investigation about even that spirit that says you hate me, don't you? I believe that I was definitely affected by this investigation. I personally believe that these evil spirits wanted me to feel the hate. They wanted me to hate somebody else, which is negative energy. I started thinking about Taviel's mother. And Taviel's mother was found not guilty by reason of insanity. She was actually ill. And she was in a mental hospital for a number of years for treatment. This just wasn't a normal murder. And unfortunately, Taviel's mother has to live with what she did the rest of her life. And I also had to come to the conclusion that Taviel's mother was definitely demonically oppressed. And this oppression drove her to the point where she killed her daughter. She lost control. She didn't know how to stop this type of oppression. A lot of people, a lot of murders out there that are unexplained, I believe a lot of them are demonic related. I mean, these school shootings that happen in this country or around the world. What would possess somebody to walk into a school and start shooting students? It's demonic. It's a demonic type oppression that eventually leads somebody to commit such horrific acts. And in this case, I believe this was demonically influenced type murders, not only with Taviel, but the murder of the 8-month-old baby and other things that happened here at Capehart. I was finally able to obtain a picture of Taviel, and for the first time, I was able to put a face to this 5-year-old girl that was murdered. When I saw her little face and thought about what happened to her, how she suffered for 30 days, the coroner said that her fingertips and toes were partially mummified. This poor little girl suffered. 30 days she went through horrific suffering before she died. And when I saw that little girl's picture, I actually broke down and cried. I mean, I cried uncontrollably. And I remember I was upstairs in my bedroom at the Lamb House, and I couldn't leave the bedroom because I couldn't stop crying. I mean, it was just such weeping of sorrow of what happened to this little child. And I remember I was just sitting on my bed and I felt this cold going all around my legs and moving up my side up to my face. And I couldn't help but to wonder, is it possible that's Taviel trying to comfort me? Is she trying to tell me everything's okay? But it was that weeping sorrow that I felt. It's like my spirit broke, and with those tears of sorrow, that oppression vanished. That oppression I was feeling, all that hate and anger, went away. It was gone. There are some other strange things that took place after this investigation. This is what happened when I confronted these spirits at Jennifer's home, and I also rebuked these demonic spirits. This is what took place. Are you guys here? Are you guys here? I'm going to be leaving here in a minute. I wanted to give you this opportunity to say anything you wanted to say before we leave. I'm going to view these recordings, and you need to talk into them so I know what's going on with you. It's important. All right, listen up. You are to leave Julian alone. You're to leave his mother alone. Can you verify to me you understand what I'm talking about? Can you verify to me you understand what I'm talking about? If you're a child, you need to find all the other children. I know they're in a realm where they play and they're happy and they laugh. I've heard from them before. You need to go to that realm. You need to find them. You're not going to find them right here. Julian can't play with you. He's not allowed to. And you're not allowed to play with him. Okay? Wow. Oh, I swore I heard a strange whisper, loud whisper that said okay. Upstairs. Okay? No spirit, whether you're a human spirit or non-human, unless you're an angel from God, you are not to be in this house. You are to depart from this house. You are to leave it. Jennifer doesn't want you in here, so you need to leave. And if you're not a human spirit, you are to depart from here and not come back. You are not to be in this house. You are to depart from this house. You are to leave it. Jennifer doesn't want you in here, so you need to leave. If you're a non-human spirit, you know you're already defeated. And I fear one spirit, and only one spirit. And I fear one spirit, and only one spirit. That's the spirit of him that created all things. And I know you fear that spirit too. And you know who I'm talking about. His name is Yeshua, and he defeated you. And he took the keys of death, hell, and the grave, and he took the authority away from you. And I know you believe, and I know you tremble. And he took the authority away from you. And I know you believe, and I know you tremble. You have no power, so depart from here. When I told this child spirit that she couldn't stay at Jennifer's home, that little voice said, okay. Now, what I wasn't thinking about and what I didn't do was give the child instructions on where to go. And I didn't think about this at the time. And we learned from our mistakes doing these investigations. But I did not tell her where she needed to go. I believe there's a really strong possibility she actually followed me to the Lamb House. And the reason why I say that, I heard my grandson playing downstairs with his toys. I was upstairs in my bedroom, and I heard him say, Tabby, Tabby, Tabby-L. And I'm like, did I just hear that? I opened up my door and I was listening, And he said it again, Tabby, Tabby, Tabby-L. I went downstairs and I said to my grandson, who are you talking to? And he looked over by his toys and pointed. I didn't say any more to him. I don't talk to my grandson about these investigations. I'm like, okay, there's a really good possibility Tabby-L followed me. And it kind of made sense because I didn't instruct her where to go or what to do. The next day I decided to go to the cemetery and visit Tabby-L's little grave. And I stop off, I buy her some toys and some flowers and a little angel. And when I left the lamb house, I said, Tabby-L, it's time to go home. I personally believe that there are family members of Tabby-L that was wanting her to come home. They wanted her to leave that Cape Harp community, and it was time to go. Tabby-L, is that you here? It's you? It's you? So I go to the cemetery, and this is what happened. Engraved on Tabby-L's marker shows grandparents Davis and Grover. John and Janet Davis were buried next to Tabby-L after 1993. I couldn't find records that show Tabby-L is in fact John and Janet's granddaughter, or even possibly great-granddaughter. I can only assume this is a possibility. I pray you rest in peace, little girl. You've been through a lot. And I hope you move into the realm of peace with all the other children. They're waiting to play with you. You're free to play. You're free to play with your toys. You're free to be with the other children. You don't have to stay over there where you're at. You can move on. You can go play with the other kids. They wait for you. Grandma and Grandpa Davis, I hope you lead her into the realm of peace. Tabby-L, this is from all of us viewers who heard your story. This is from all of us. Rest in peace, little girl. We love you. And you will never be forgotten. After finishing this portion of the recordings, I turn on my digital cell cam. I was only using the cell phone camera to get silent video of the cemetery here for the closure of this investigation. While recording, I heard the disembodied voice of a child, as if the child was sitting right next to me on one of the tombstones. And I was surprised how clear this disembodied voice was captured on the camera that I was holding. Hello? Hello? Taviel, is that you? The residents in the home where 8-month-old Isha Dixon was murdered also reported experiencing paranormal activity. Is it possible these spirits want the living to know who murdered Isha? Did we encounter the spirit of little Taviel within the Cape Heart community? I believe we did. I also believe Taviel is now where she needs to be, in a beautiful place with family and new friends to meet. The little girl in the window looking at all the children playing outside is now free to be the child she was meant to be. Taviel is home.